So today I want to talk to you about the pity party, reliving the past versus living in the present moment. And this is a really interesting shift for me as far as like perspective. And often when people re-engage you, like people from your past re-engage you, but they're re-engaging you from their past perspective, and so they're re-engaging basically someone who doesn't exist anymore, right? Because they're drawing you into a past situation. And I'm really aware recently of like, so because I talk about owning and transforming your emotions, right? And people are like, yeah, that's great. But it's often misunderstood. So like how it's like a piece of art, how people interpret you is their own choice. And I've noticed that because I'm so expressive and I share my emotions and I have no shame around my pain, but other people, that will trigger their shame. And so they're like, pity you. And now pity is a very disempowered energy. It's not compassion. It's not sympathy even. Pity is like, oh my God, like, you're so pathetic. I feel bad for you. But it can be masked as like sympathy. It could be masked as like, oh, I care so much, but like really, I'm just probably quite happy that you're in this place, and I'll make it look like sympathy, but really it's this like pity, like victim kind of shady, gossipy kind of vibration. So pity parties are not cool and they're not fun. And they're kind of similar to the gossip where people can sit around and like pity people for their pain, almost like from this superior standpoint of like, I don't feel that kind of pain. Like that sucks for you to be in that kind of pain. And especially when you're like, yeah, okay, like it's like this whole detached perspective, like other people's pain's completely separate. And yeah, so be very mindful when you end up maybe in a pity party and realize that you're in the pity party, but who you think you're pitying isn't necessarily the truth. When we're in a pity party, we're just pitying ourselves. We're just in a petty situation, right? And that's something I've definitely like shifted out of, is like being here now. Like something about my expressiveness is that I can express something and then it's gone, and I'm here now. And so like a YouTube video from 2 weeks ago where I'm like sad and in pain, that's me processing my pain and then moving on and moving forward and moving on with my life, right? So it's like, we have a choice in every moment. Do we want to rehash the past? Do we want to keep going over these old drama stories? Or do we just want to be here now? So it's so beautiful to be able to like be aware of energies of situations where people might want to try to like bring you back to where you once were, bring you back to the past, go over the situation, especially when there's a sense of attack, right? Especially when there's a sense of wounding. There's a sense of like someone wanting to know, like, no, how dare you move on? How dare you try to be free? You have to deal with this. And the thing is often the pity party, the people who are at the pity party are still projecting that pity onto you. And so they think you need to fix it for them. But actually it's their own pity. It's their own self-doubt. It's their own lack of faith. It's their own lack of belief, right? And so they project that pity around in their little parties, thinking it's got nothing to do with them. And what I've realized is like, but I'm living in the present, and my present is awesome. My present is open. My present is like a miraculous, amazing things happening and falling in. And I'm like, oh, weird. I'm not there anymore. And that's the beauty of forgiveness. Like when you forgive, you just move forward. There's no attachment. There's no like grappling on. And yet energetically with the intuition, you can sense what people are. You can sense what people are doing. That's oneness. That's real oneness, is like, there's no mask. There's no shades, there's no hooks. You can't hook into people because there's total transparency. There's nothing to hide. But if somebody's got something to hide, if somebody's playing games, if there's an agenda, it'll feel like that. You'll feel the distortion. You'll feel the like, no thanks. Like, I don't want to go back to the past. I'm happy here now. And just because your judgment put me in some sad place or put me in some pity place doesn't mean your judgment is true to my reality. And that's what's often a big leap for people. People think their thoughts are real. People think their emotions are real. And ultimately, in the narcissistic world that we've lived in, that's been acceptable for a long time. That people deny their emotions, they deny other people, and it's no big deal. That's just the world. Like, whatever. I'm supported, so I don't need to give a shit about whatever people think, or I don't need to give a shit about, like, if other people, like, they're just gonna have to fend for themselves. Fine. However, in the world that we're pioneering, in the Alta Love world, in the new world we're creating, it's like we want to be transparent. The more transparent you become, the more you can feel other people's densities. You can see and feel where people are hiding, what people are shaming, what people are. It's typically when people are hiding shame wounds, guilt wounds, and then they project that, so they end up wounding people around them. They pull people into their dramas. They use people to feed their own victim stories, and it can be masked in nice things. It can be masked in a nice home. It can be masked in plenty of money. It can be masked in any number of things. And yet those of us who know we're here, like, in that mission sense, or in that destiny, and that, like, I need that burning desire. That's something I've had my whole life, is like burning desire. It's only started to relieve itself now that I'm expressing authentically, but I need to keep expressing. Otherwise the burning desire just, like, bubbles up. It's like, no, I have to keep expressing, have to keep sharing these insights, because I believe they're relevant to a lot of empathic, sensitive people. I think they're relevant to the people who really genuinely desire living in a more compassionate world, because it's navigating territory of shades. Like, we're all reflections of each other. We're all completely one and connected, and yet, do we? If I am one with other, and other is asking me to go back to some painful past situation, I can say no. I am one with my next phase. I'm one with my highest expression. I want to keep my focus on that, and, like, then that gives the other person an option to let go as well. That gives the other person the option to step up too. However, if there's too much density or resistance, they may not see that as an opportunity. They might choose to just attack you instead. So you can choose your freedom, but if the other doesn't choose their freedom as well, they'll reject your freedom, paint it as something else, and allow that judgment to keep them blocked into their limitation, distortion, or whatever you want to call it, right? So don't go to the pity party, guys. Don't play the victim, even though the majority of humanity might pretend to be superior, but deep down there's a serious victimhood. There's a deep core wound of unworthiness, which is why it comes out in shades as jealousy, resentment, and bitterness, because deep down we don't feel like the true creators, which we are, but we've been in denial of our emotional bodies, and we've been in deep shame about these things we call emotions and our true power. So we have to start lifting the lid and owning those emotions, right? And yet, those of us who are sensitive and empathic, if the intuition is asking you to leave a situation or to not play into people's games, you have to be legit. You have to be fucking real with yourself. Not my job to, this one keeps coming up for me, because I'm seeing these threads, these people from the past kind of trying to, like, reach out and kind of bring me back there. And it's just like, no. And then I'm thinking, like, in my heart, like, what's the feeling? It's all forgiven. Yeah. There's compassion. Yeah. Do I owe that person something? No. That's something, my old pattern of just giving to people, just supporting people and loving people, and, giving of self as genuinely and as honestly as I can, and then just being ripped apart, being denied, being pushed aside, being cut out. And it's just like, and then, years and years and years later, somebody being like, oh, and then still trying to blame and attack you. And you're like, I don't need to go into that energy. And because it's true, I can feel it. When someone, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a message, you can tune into the energy and feel the energy that's coming at you. Straight up, if it doesn't feel good, if it feels like someone's, like, attacking your heart or attacking your person, or somehow even in nice language, like, digging at you, Trust the intuition. That's what I'm having to learn to do. Trust the intuition, not interested in the pity party because I don't pity myself. I'm not a victim, you see. So if someone that's pitying me, I'm just like, who are you talking to? Like, I'm not a victim. I'm a powerful creator. And I want to see other people as powerful creators. But if they don't see themselves as powerful creators, they don't want to hang out with me. Because being a powerful creator means being powerful. It means being emotional. It means being real about like the fucking fullness of who you are, not playing these little petty games, not staying in our little petty fucking dramas to avoid the deep transformational and alchemical work of ascension, and transformation, whatever you want to call it. You can call it anything you like. All it means is just being a fucking more compassionate and loving human being. And it's not on an emotional level. That's not easy because we've all been taught to hate ourselves and to not feel. So we need to remember how to love. And then via the love, we need to heal. So the wisdom of not casting pearls before swine. Oh my God, that's really hit on a nugget that I've been sitting with about like not forcing this stuff on people, like not sharing necessarily. And that's something that's come to like the trust, knowing who you trust, like putting broadcasting out, but like knowing that only certain minds will actually be able to resonate and absorb the divine, right? Otherwise, people can twist the messages and make it whatever they want. There is wisdom there, isn't there? And I'm only working with that now. This like there again, it's the detach of people pleasing and not desiring to change or fix or anything because it's all divine anyway, right? If we're trying to force it on, it can end up getting fucked up and distorted. Powerful information, right? And if people are not interested in the mindfulness from a compassionate heart place and are just interested in power over and control and manipulate, this is a big thread of energy I think that's being called out now, is like the manipulation, the control, those subtle mind games and traps that are really fucking hurtful. Those are now starting to get leveled up, like again, like people are seeing through that. So people playing those shady games are like kind of scrambling. It's like another dark night of the soul in the collective frequency. So there's a lot of dark energy just like spinning out, which is why we're feeling a lot of more heightened emotions. Man X Mix, nice to see you this morning. Trying to look at your photo. It looks like a UFO or something. You guys, thanks so much for listening and tuning in. I really appreciate your presence and your support. From a place of impact, not pity, obviously. Even in my emotional ones, I don't do it like for pity or recognition. It's just literally to show you guys like the shininess, but then also the depth of just like, like feeling and owning your shit, feeling and owning the depth of your own pain. And every time I do, it's like, wow, still more pain there, but then and you just keep going up and up, spiral up rather than just here or like down. You barely don't stay. Staying here is really just going down. We want to be going up. So we got to keep penetrating the depth of our darkness to keep rising and expanding into our light potential. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for listening, and I hope that was useful to you. Enjoy. Bye.